To truly understand how to achieve financial security, we must first define what wealth actually means. Many people equate being wealthy with earning a high income, but true financial security is about more than just making a lot of money. A useful definition of being rich is having passive income that exceeds your expenses. To illustrate this, let's compare two individuals with very different financial situations. The high-earning executive, yet financially stressed. A friend of mine works in mergers and acquisitions at a top-tier investment bank. In a bad year, he earns $3 million. In a good year, $14 million. However, after taxes, at around 52%, alimony, child support, and maintaining a luxurious lifestyle, including homes in the Hamptons, he barely saves anything. Despite his high income, he constantly feels financial stress. The modest income retiree, yet financially secure. My father, a retired Royal Navy officer, earns about $52,000 a year from his pension and collecting quarters from a dozen washing machines in trailer parks. His annual expenses are around $48,000, meaning his passive income exceeds his spending. As a result, he has no financial worries. He is truly rich by this definition. This example highlights that financial security is not about how much money you make, but about how much of it you can keep and sustain without stress. The key is to have investments or income sources that generate money without requiring your active labor. If your goal is financial independence, you need to build a portfolio of investments that generate passive income greater than your annual expenses. Here's how you can calculate your wealth-building goal. If you need $120,000 per year in passive income, assuming an 8% annual return on investments, you would need to save and invest approximately $1.5 million. This formula helps you set a clear financial target based on your desired lifestyle. To reach financial security, focus on low-cost index funds rather than speculative investments. The stock market has historically returned around 8 to 10% annually over the long run. If you start early, compounding interest will do most of the heavy lifting for you. Achieving financial independence allows you to make choices based on your desires rather than obligations. A mentor of mine introduced me to a concept called the 3 buckets of life. Things you have to do, for example, attending a major business meeting obligations. Things you want to do, for example, vacations, personal hobbies. Things you should do, for example, attending an event out of obligation rather than interest. The greatest financial freedom comes from eliminating the should bucket. When you no longer have to do things out of financial necessity, life becomes much more enjoyable. Find an area where you can become one of the top 1 to 10% in your field. The most valuable careers exist in industries with a 90% plus employment rate. For example, technology, finance, medicine. Avoid distractions like multiple side hustles. Your core career will likely generate the best returns if you invest more effort into it. Economic downturns, job losses, and market crashes happen. You can't control them. What you can control: your spending habits, live below your means. Your savings rate. The higher it is, the sooner you achieve financial freedom. Where you invest. Opt for diversified long-term investments. Most people underestimate how quickly time passes. For instance, if you invest $1,000 at age 25, it could grow to $12,000, $24,000 by age 55, thanks to compounding interest. If you save $62,000 per year, equivalent to private school tuition, and invest it instead, your child could have $5.3 million by age 35, enough to secure financial independence. One of the biggest mistakes I made in my early career was over-concentrating my wealth in a single investment. In 2008, I had a company that was performing well. I took out a $3 million loan to buy more of its stock. The company went bankrupt and suddenly I was $3 million in debt. The emotional and financial toll was enormous. Since then, I've adopted a strict rule: never put more than 3% of my net worth into any single investment. Why? Because market conditions outweigh individual effort. You might think you've found the perfect investment, but unforeseen factors, regulations, competition, recessions can wipe it out overnight. Diversification acts as financial armor. If one investment fails, your overall wealth remains intact. Becoming financially independent is not about quick wins. It's a slow and consistent process. Here's a recap of the key principles. Define wealth as passive income exceeding expenses. Invest wisely in low-cost index funds for long-term growth. Focus on your main career instead of side hustles. Control what you can: spending, savings, and investing discipline. Leverage time and compounding interest to your advantage. Diversify your investments to avoid catastrophic losses. Finally, true financial success isn't just about numbers. It's about building strong relationships and gaining the trust of others. The wealthiest, most successful people didn't get there by stepping on others. They created value, built networks, and earned respect. If you embrace these principles, you will eventually reach financial independence, not overnight, but with certainty.